The brand new Villa Rosa patterns have arrived. We are going to talk about them one at a time. There are 5 different quilts this month, and there is 1 table topper pattern. And just a little hint, if you love table toppers, then you might want to consider joining the Quilting Your Legacy Table Topper Club, because the pattern that is included in this month may or may not be what we sew next month in November. Let's get to all of the patterns now. So as a quick overview, again, there are 5 different quilts, 1 table topper pattern. If you love quilts that use many different types of fabrics, or if you have a jelly roll in your stash that you're not quite sure what to make with, or even if you have 10-inch squares, again, you have 10-inch squares in your stash, I've got a pattern for you this month from Villa Rosa. And of course, we've got an amazing table topper using autumn fabrics. And again, if you love table toppers, you might want to consider joining the Table Topper Club. Have we met before? Hi, I'm Emily from Norton House Quilting and the founder of Quilting Your Legacy. And if you are a quilter, you belong here, because together we are going to make lasting sewn projects for you to enjoy along with your favorite people, because Quilting Your Legacy is legendary. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. So the first pattern we have is Mazed. Mazed is going to be 48 inches by 60 inches. This is where you could choose any jelly roll that you may or may not already have in your quilting stash, because you are going to need 40 different 2.5-inch strips. When you're choosing what jelly roll to use, just keep in mind that you're going to want that contrasting colors. So you're going to want to pair a dark color with a light color. After you've chosen your light color to then your dark color, you will then sew it, and then you're going to iron by pressing the seams open, and you're going to cut it 4 other times to then spin each of those strips into the quilt block. To make this quilt, you are going to need, again, 1 jelly roll or 42.5-inch strips, plus you're going to need 1/2 yard for the binding. Quilting Your Legacy notes, this is going to be a quick and easy quilt. Again, grab a jelly roll, pair it with a light and dark color, and bada bing, quilt zinga, you've got a quilt. The next quilt is Twisted. Twisted is a quilt pattern. It is 54 inches by 60 inches. This quilt is using 10-inch squares. So if you have a layer cake laying around, here is your quilt. You are going to need 42 different 10-inch squares. So to make this quilt, again, you are going to need 42 10-inch squares, and you're also going to need 1/2 yard for the bind. Quilting Your Legacy notes. This is going to be a brilliant couch quilt. You will be making half square triangles, the 2 at a time method. After you've chosen your 42 10-inch squares, you'll then choose 20 light color squares, trimming them down to 9.5 inches, which will then also make some of your half square triangle units. This is going to be a brilliant couch quilt. And not to mention, this will be really great to use up scrap fabrics as well. Make it a fun, scrappy couch quilt for everybody to enjoy. The third quilt is Pumpkin Pie. Pumpkin Pie is 49 inches by 60 inches. Quilting Your Legacy starts now. Here is a fun and playful quilt using 4 different large pieced fabrics. The 5th piece will be for your sashing, which is going in between each of your large printed fabric. This could also be a really great quilt when thinking of one of your favorite people that you haven't quite made a project for. They could either choose a few of their favorite seasonal fabric. To make this quilt, you are going to need 5 different 1/2 yard cuts of fabric and 1/2 yard for the binding. So to cut out each of these 5 fabric, you will need to cut them all out differently, which again, it says it right on the pattern how to do so. But the best part, large printed fabric. So those fabrics that you're not quite sure what to make with because they're so large, it could go right in the center, and then of course choosing a few other coordinating fabrics. The 4th quilt is Berry Smooth. Berry Smooth is 52 inches by 64 inches. You are going to choose choose 12 different fat quarters. So this is going to be a really great quilt to highlight your favorite fabrics. Or again, thinking of one of your favorite people, they could choose 8 different fabrics, and then you choose 4 coordinating fabrics to really highlight the fabrics that they have chosen. To make this quilt, again, you are going to need 12 different fat quarters along with a half of a yard for the binding. So you're first going to choose 6 of the fat quarters and cut them into 2 different strips and then sew them back together again. And then that other 6 fat quarters, you're going to cut them into, again, 2 different strips and then sew those back together again. You're basically going to be making 2 different quilt blocks, so you could make this quilt larger if you wanted to. And again, because you need 12 different fat quarters, you could choose 8 different fat quarters of prints and then 4 of the tonal or solid fabrics, just to make sure that the printed fabrics that you've chosen really pop and really stand out. The 5th quilt is called Gallant, and Gallant is 60 inches by 70 inches. I love the look and feel of using the patriotic fabric. This could be a really great quilt of valor quilt. In addition to that, you could also choose tans into dark browns. You could choose greens into teals, or even light blues into dark navy blues if you wanted. To make this particular quilt, you are going to need 6 different red fat quarters. You're going to need 5 different blue fat quarters, along with a yard and 3/4 for the background fabric, 3/4 of a yard for the border, and then last but certainly not least, 5/8 of a yard for the binding. So to cut out this quilt, you are basically going to be cutting the fat quarters into strips, as it says on the pattern. And again, this would be an amazing quilt for quilts of valor, and or you literally could use any light into dark color fabrics as well. This quilt definitely screams using Bally's, which would be amazing as well. And then last but certainly not least, everybody, is Maple Grove. This is a table topper. Again, if you love this, if you love the fabric, email me right now. Here's my email address. And I will share with you the information to join the Quilting Your Legacy Table Topper Club, because in November, we are going to make this together. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, seriously, I love table toppers. I cannot wait to make this table topper. It is using 4 different large maple leaf blocks. To make this table topper, you are going to need 1 fat quarter of each of the colors. So 1 fat quarter of orange, red, and gold, or I'm choosing a yellow tonal. In the quilt kit, it's so pretty. Okay, and then you're going to need 5/8 of a yard for the background color. So to cut out this particular table topper, you're going to want to make sure that you keep in mind to cut your fabrics out the 21 inch of the width. Very, very important so you don't run out of fabric. To make the leaves, you again are going to be choosing the leaf color, orange, red, yellow, that gold color. You will be making a few half square triangles, the 2 at a time method, and then you're basically going to be making 2.5 inch strips, which is kind of like the border going around the pattern. Quilting Your Legacy knows this is going to be the perfect table topper for any occasion. I love being playful. I love being silly. What if at Thanksgiving, have it on the Thanksgiving table and then choosing one of your favorite people to take it home, maybe get really silly, and you guys could do like a drawing or something. So everybody's name is in a hat or whatnot. So when it's dessert time, or maybe or what if you had a competition for desserts and everybody voted their favorite dessert, and whoever won, they get the table topper to take home with them? Again, if you love this particular pattern and the similar fabric choices, email me now. My email address is right here, and I will give you all of the information to join the Quilting Your Legacy Table Topper Club. We meet monthly and we sew a different quilted project every single month. And this may or may not be on the roster for next month in November. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. That way you never miss out on the next video. And again, hello, I am Emily from Norton House Quilting and the founder of Quilting Your Legacy. And if you are a quilter, you belong here. Together, we are going to create a lasting Quilting Your Legacy projects, because your projects deserve to live on. Bye for now, everybody, and see you in the next video.